This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here with our very good friend, Shiraz Mottair, who's joining us from Malivoire. How are you today, Shiraz?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's a bit of a quiet time at the winery right now, so it's a good time to reflect and plan for the future, and also look at the vineyards. It's a beautiful day, so it's nice to be outside. I was on the tractor a little bit this morning, so yeah, I'm doing well right now.
Good.
Feeling well.
So how is the COVID haircut going?
Yeah, don't you like it?
Yeah, that's pretty much.
The reality is,
Yeah.
Oh,
I've kind of gone the opposite direction. Put that on. Yeah. So I look like
See, Jamie, I'm smart enough not to try and cut my own hair. I used to do that, and it was not pretty. So
yeah, I kind of look like an extra from Train Spotting now, or an escaped inmate or something.
Yeah, you would do well in a film right about now. Yeah, when film industry comes back, you've got something there.
My wife loved it. Anyway. So we're kind of living through this ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. How did it impact your life, both at the winery, Malivoire, and your personal life?
Oh well, I mean it's affected everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think we're any different. We were, obviously it happened very suddenly. We weren't sure where we were going to be standing. Remember those early days in the middle of March? There was a new announcement coming out. There'd be the morning with the premier, and then the 1 o'clock with the prime minister. We never knew what the status of the country was, so we just sort of held our breath and go, okay, are we still open for business? And immediately when things when schools decided we're not coming back after March break, so I guess that was March 12th.
Yeah.
I think the whole industry just sort of went, okay, let's stop. So, everyone shut their retails, everyone stopped tasting, and so that was, that's hard on the whole industry. That's hard on our staff that are in that realm, and then on top of that, so then the restaurants get closed, and we're not sure where we stand on this. It makes a lot of sense, but a third, at least 25% of our business is built around sales to restaurants. So that's a big hit, and we, it's a hit to us, but it's a way bigger hit to them. So I don't know what the recovery is going to be like for them. You might know better than me.
Oh, that's the $1 million or $1 billion question. Having, being brought up in the hospitality industry and, earn my chops there. I've not worked in the industry for 10 years, but I have so many friends who work within it. And it really hurts me to kind of try to predict the future of where all of that is going.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at restaurants opening with social distancing regulations in place, it doesn't make that much sense to me. And I've said many times before in these interviews, I'm not in any great rush to go to a restaurant in an environment that's more akin to an operating theater than a place for conviviality, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we do go there to eat and nourish ourselves, but there's
something more than that.
Ambiance, that is lost for sure.
So how are things in Niagara? How are things locally?
Well, we're farming industry. Our region is very much focused on not just grapes, but all the roadside fruit stands and vegetable stands, and farming continues. So we were lucky. So we didn't have to shut down our production, just our retail. And we adapted in terms of production just to make sure that only one person in production was in the cellar at one time, or only one person was in the lab at one time. And if there was if there was an opportunity, we just went out to the vineyard and worked. And because you could really space out in the vineyard. And and so that's worked out well for us, and clearly, everybody who's in the farming business, the people that you used to see running around in pickup trucks organizing and managing things, you see them now on the tractors doing a lot of
Yeah.
the work,
Yeah.
just to try and get it done, because there were some shortages with staffing, but not for us, which was good. And yeah, we just carry on. I think Niagara is uh, is hurting clearly as a tourist destination.
Yeah.
But there have been some interesting positives on all this, and direct to consumer sales has been a real bright spot in all of this.
I was about to ask, because you were quite established in your online sales previously, but has that really exploded since all of this went down?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's increased. I can't say by how much, but certainly not enough to replace lost retail sales
Yeah. Yeah.
and restaurant sales. But we've never had to pack so many orders, and especially with our partners in delivery, the couriers that we use, which are almost 95% restaurant, now have to change their tact and go into residential neighborhoods, and they had a big adjustment. So we were sending our own people out to do a lot of deliveries, and
Yeah.
it's actually good because not only are you um, finding a new way to get our wines to them safely, but there is an interaction at the curb, or 10 steps away at the front door. And so rather than be a courier, just somebody who's driving around, we're there, and I think that makes an impact. And so I think this sort of environment that we've been living in terms of how we're getting these wines to people, is actually really good. It's creating a really nice bond with our consumers and us, even if we're behind masks. And it really is exceptional to think that people are supporting Ontario and local. I think that's really exciting. I know part of it might be people did not want to leave the house. They certainly didn't want to stand in some of the lineups that you could see outside of shops because of how many people were allowed in a store, and how many paces they had to be behind somebody else. So taking advantage of free delivery, those people were smart, and but I think we're benefiting. I think I really hope that we can sustain, maybe not all of it, but kids are eventually going to go back to school, so people won't be opening up a bottle of wine at 12:01. But and who knows? If you don't have to get on the road to go anywhere, it's
Yeah.
at least it's safe that way too. Um, I know we don't want to encourage any excessive consumption here, but it's nice that people have really taken advantage of this time to get to know our wines, and so it's been a real positive that way.
Speaking of hospitality and another aspect of retail, your cellar door tasting bar was quite a big part of your program there. Where do you see the cellar door sales going in the future? Because that's something that hasn't been spoken about that much.
Yeah, so everyone has adapted, and we are too. We haven't opened our tasting room.
Yeah.
Some people have. Some people have got everything in place with plexiglass to do that. We're
Yeah.
still sort of working through some of our options, but we're taking it as an opportunity to change permanently. I think that it's not going to be a temporary change on how we operate our tasting room. It's going to be by appointment, but we started out as by appointment, and then
Yeah.
the winery grew and tourism grew, and people just started to flock to the region and to our tasting rooms, and it can be very crowded. So the opportunity to kind of create a better space, to create an opportunity to have a good one-on-one conversation and engagement with the customer is something we're going to really take. So we've had two tasting rooms, sort of our main one and our overflow one, which we kind of use more on weekends. We've now converted the one to just a pure shop. So you're going to come in, you're going to buy bottles and go. And the other one we're gonna try and create into that really comfortable tasting experience. Will it affect sales? I hope not, because I think the experience, if it's better, maybe we'll get more sales that way. Maybe more by the case sales, which is always what everyone is trying for. But certainly we'll be bringing less people in through the doors once, even when we're getting into the next phase. But even post pandemic, hoping that we get to a point where we don't have to fear this virus. We'll still keep this because I think it's going to be the way we want to create our customer experience. Hopefully, we can maintain the sales that we've had, because it is a big chunk of what we do. And it's coming and walking into the winery, seeing the tanks, smelling the production space, and knowing that so I'm so used to it, and I'm always impressed when people walk in and they can smell certain aspects of the wine before they even get near the bar and the glass, because of what they smell. And those experiences are really hard to, you don't want to give that up, but it is going to have to be reduced for sure.
So as we've been under lockdown to a certain degree, and you've not had to do that many wine events or speak with that many annoying journalists, you must have had a lot of time on your hands to taste through all of your stuff in cellar. So your 2019, 2018 vintages, how are those looking right now?
Oh, I'm really happy. We've I did get a chance. I don't always take detailed notes of every barrel that we have, but I did. And again, it was forced upon me because we had to stay apart. We couldn't be on top of each other in the lab doing trials, or in the cellar, passing hoses to each other. So I sequestered myself in the barrel cellar for every day for a couple of days a week, and so I got through everything. So happy with what the 19s are looking like right now. We just pulled out all our Chardonnay blends, and it's got some killer acidity. These wines have energy and resonance that can go on, and yet they're fresh and crisp, and it's really exciting. Kind of Chardonnays that I think we're all aspiring to make. It's just got so much fruit and tension, but it's lively and exciting. So it's looking really good. 19 has some of the best acids, yet great fruit composition as well. Pinot Noirs are in the same sort of realm, and I like that style. It's a very energetic style. It's not and we're pulling these wines out of barrel earlier than when we normally would. Just because I think we want to preserve that fruit.
Yeah.
Gamé's already been pulled out of barrel a long time ago, and the 19s are a hit for sure.
Excellent. Now, wine aside, and on a closing note, what has this ongoing pandemic taught you personally, and what have you managed to glean from the experiences since we went into lockdown?
Yeah, that's you kind of get stuck in your bubble, right? And you miss getting out of that bubble. It's like you say, you don't want to go to a restaurant, but you really miss just going to a bar after work, and meeting with your colleagues, like outside of your colleagues within the industry, but not at Malivoire, right? Like the guys around at Taw's or around the road at Rosewood or whatever, just catching up for a beer. yeah, those are the things you really miss. It's we try our best with but via email, but I think the connection we've had to social media and our laptops with our cameras and our Zoom meetings, you kind of miss a little bit of that face-to-face
Yeah.
meeting with people. I mean, but you can make this however you want. You can, like I say, you can just get so into the wines, into what you're doing, or you can, plan for the vintage and get stuck on a spreadsheet, or you can just go out to the vineyard. And anyone who's ever worked in a vineyard knows the joys of it, because from afar it's very tedious, very boring, and it's hard labor. You're out in the sun, you're doing the same job all day long. But when you're doing that sort of stuff, your mind just totally opens up to, and you think, you're very reflective, and you can come up with wonderful ideas, and that part of it is fun. And giving myself the opportunity to kind of just be on your own to do that sort of work is, it's a nice sort of break from all the fast action
Yeah.
meetings that normally take place.
I can definitely understand that. I've just been writing a small piece about missing I think I used the term visceral thrill of tasting with my peers. And, these Zoom tastings are all well and good. I've attended a few of them, but it's not really the same. There's not
Yeah.
the same interaction, for sure, over a kind of a digital medium. But I understand exactly what you're saying.
Like even in our own tastings that we do, because I'm a part of a team here. I always have my vineyard manager and assistant winemakers, and Martin is always part of our tastings. We tried that, and these are like the important tastings to decide, if this is the right choice of barrels, or tank to barrel options, and virtually it just didn't work. It was very difficult to gauge people's reactions, to really feel, and to work together. So we had to, since we had our big retail space not being used, we just spread out, 10
All
meters
right.
apart,
Yeah.
literally, to kind of at least give us that opportunity of being in the same room together to taste, because we couldn't really come up with not that you need consensus, but you need to all feel like we're part of the same
Yeah.
team, rowing in the same direction, and getting to the same point. Yeah.
Shiraz Mottair, it's great to see you. I'm looking forward to the point when we can taste alongside each other once again. I really appreciate your time joining us at Good Food Revolution today.
My pleasure, and maybe sometime you can spin a few tunes that you got behind you there.
Oh yeah,
it looks like a good collection.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know if you've seen online. They're actually selling a cardboard thing that you can put at the back of your Zoom call, so it looks as if it's just to prove to you it's not one of those.
Oh, so that could be fake.
It's not. Salvation soundtrack, New Order.
Oh, that's awesome.
Played a big part in that. There you go.
Okay.
All right. On that note, I'm glad I was wearing trousers there. Sorry. Well, shorts at least. Shiraz, great to speak with you. Okay, take care. Stay safe.
Take care. Bye. Nice to see you, Jamie. Bye.